Seid ihr schon soweit? Kann man schon die Bügel holen oder noch nicht?
All generations have one common goal and aspiration, and that is to secure the health of their people, employing whatever means possible. Eritrea's health policy revolves around this fundamental goal: to ensure equitable and quality distribution of health services across the nation, in view of the fact that health is the cornerstone of social justice. Only this month, the Eritrean Pediatric Heart Center at the Orota Hospital celebrated its 10th anniversary since its establishment in 2002. A 22-member medical team sponsored by Archimed, a medical organization stationed in Germany, together with Eritrean doctors, commemorated the event in which successful heart operations were carried out on over 650 Eritrean children with cardiac problems throughout the span of the last 10 years.
Well, amazing 10 years, because when we started we had more or less nothing. We had our experience as a surgeon, and we had help from a few Eritrean medical staff people. We had the building, but the conditions were very difficult. And in that year, 2002, we operated 12 patients.
My name is Dr. Anna Maria Brecher, and I come from Germany, from a heart center where I worked since about 40 years. And my colleague, Dr. Andreas Orban, and some of us, we started this project here in Asmara to help children which suffer from cardiac disease since birth. And we got some of them by an NGO in the year 2004 or something like that. And the mother came with the child to Germany. And we thought it would not be good to bring children to Germany. We would prefer to show the Eritrean to do it by themselves and to come here to train them and to start with them for some years, because cardiac surgery in Germany takes you 12, about 15 years to be cardiac surgeon after you got your matura, you finished your school. So it's not a thing which can be done from one to the other year, but it can be done over time. And that was our idea, to come here, to work together with the Eritrean nurses, doctors, chefs from the blood center, from everywhere. You can't do cardiac surgery alone. You always have to be a good team, a good functioning team.
They said it all started on April 14, 2002, with the successful surgery on a 9-year-old Eritrean girl who is now 19 and in good health.
I remember the first was a girl named Jerusalem. She's now 20 years old, and I think she's just sitting her exams, or just has set her exams, and she's a healthy person now. And since then it was necessary to enlarge that service. So the enlargement service meant not only to enlarge pediatric cardiac surgery, we will come back to that in a minute, but also to to make possible normal pediatric surgery, neurosurgery, plastic surgery, orthopedic surgery. And we introduced all that in the YOCA. That was a big step, because that was the first time that when there was really someone who cared surgically for the pediatric population. And then in my personal field, cardiac surgery, we tried to get more people interested in doing cardiac surgery.
10 ዓመት ሕጂ በቃ 10 ዓመት ኣኽቢርና ማለት እዩ ኣብዚ ውሽጢ 10 ዓመት ከ ከባቢ 650 ካብኡ ንላዕሊ ይኾኑ ቆልዑት መጥባሕቲ ተኻይድሎም መብዛሕቶም ጽቡቕ ህይወት ኣለዎ ገሊኦም ብዘይ መድሃኒት ኣለዎ ገሊኦም መድሃኒት እንዳወሰዱ ኣለዉ ጽቡቕ ኣለዉ
In fact, this is an activity which is running as such as a cardiac operation in this center. It's almost 10 years. We are celebrating this week 10 years of anniversary. So in the last 10 years, they have been assisting us, and about 650 patients were operated in this center. So all these patients, if they were not operated, they would have died. So the assistance is enormous. And they are assisting us in the increment. It's increasing, okay? We started in 2002, April 2002, with a minimum of 2 to 3 missions a year. They are coming here to operate patients, and there is also follow-up of the patients. And the operation is just, last year, for example, they have operated about 80 patients in a year. So there is a huge number. And it's 6 missions in 1 year. It's very large number. So I think the activity is always in the progress. In the progress, not only the activity, the transmission of the capacity in the center. We are learning every day. 10 years ago, for example, I was not able even to do echocardiography 10 years ago. So I got the chance to go to St. Augustine at that time, in 2000, before the initiation of this mission. I got the chance from the organization, the Hammer Forum at that time, now Archimed. They gave me the chance to go to St. Augustine just to get this training in echocardiography. So since then, I'm doing the screening for my patients before their arrival using this machine. And with their assistance, I'm just progressing daily. The same thing with the cardiac surgeon. There is an Eritrean cardiac surgeon. He's just attending with them, doing the operations. Now the progress is also in all aspects, not only in the equipping the instruments. It's also equipping the human resource.
I stop that. And if you want to move it again, you just click on that. And
The German doctors have come together with our own professionals in this business of medicine, where they could exchange ideas, experiences, as well as expertise, and thereby provide other local medical professionals with the proper instructions that they will surely need in the future ahead.
In the cardiac intervention as a whole, it's a teamwork. Starting from the screening up to the operation and the follow-up after the operation. So in all these areas, the cardiologist for the screening with the echocardiographic machine, and the cardiac surgeon will operate the patient. Before the operation, there is anesthetist. The anesthetist will do the anesthesia and the subsequent follow-up during the operation. And there are this type of illness, there is a need for, it's an open heart surgery, so there is a need to use the heart-lung machine. There is also a perfusionist who is in charge of that machine. And there are also assistant to the chief surgeon, the surgeon in the cardiac surgeon. And there are also running nurses who are assisting in the nursing activity.
When we started in 2002, when we started operation, we had another NGO that was Hammer Forum, very well known in Eritrea. And together with Hammer Forum, we equipped this IOCA at that time in 2002. But Hammer Forum has decided not to have projects like hospitals or things like that in Eritrea any longer. So we founded our own NGO, Archimed, 2 years ago. And since then, we are under this new logo, and our family of sponsors has increased, and they're very interested that those projects are really producing results. So when we come and invest money, they want to know, what have you done with the money? And this is another form of quality control. They give us the money, we have to report what we've done with the money, and then they're happy, and money comes. But Archimed is the umbrella under which everything happens, and even the other NGOs which are helping us, the Italian teams, Un Cor un Mondo, the Swiss team with Kinderherz NGOs, they are under the umbrella of Archimed. It's a common organization, and therefore it works.
Actually, as far as I'm concerned, I'm always optimistic into this program, because we have just witnessed that this has been one of the most effective, consistent and sustainable programs that I have ever seen in health in the country. And the outcomes have been so remarkable that the results are, quite incredible. And having our own team, of course, this has been the plan when the program was started. This has been the plan, and it's becoming effective. And you might have seen the nurses working by their own, the scrum nurses, the ICU nurses, and all the other paramedical staff, working by themselves, independently. And the doctors have also started operating. We have started to operate by our own. At least the simple procedures are now carried out by Eritrean surgeons. So, I can tell you that in a very few years' time, with the continuation of the assistance by the group, by Professor Andrian and his team, I'm quite confident that we'll be able to have an independent team that's going to be, carrying out this program for the years to come.
Parting an infant from her mother for the operation is undoubtedly an emotional moment for everyone who witnesses the scene. And as she slowly hands over her child to the doctors, the mother revealed her message ever so secretly to the doctors with her own tears. But little does she know now that her daughter will be brought back to her in much healthier situation. We asked the nurses about this particular emotional moment that always unfolds before every surgery.
It was quite emotional. You see, this is the gratitude that you have, as a doctor, as a physician, as a health professional. This is, your when you see the outcome of, children and other patients, even adults, and you always think about their parents, relatives, and it gives you quite, big responsibility in terms of, carrying out your job properly, and also, the message that's transmitted has to also be, properly addressed, and it was quite emotional, and you probably might have also seen that the child was crying when he came back from the operation theater, so we were all very happy about that. And the mother was also very happy about the outcome.
تأتو خلانا بحكي نفسية تفعل اللي خد لها بدن زغبر مسبب الله وتفريدا رقمت نفسيتي علاتا لك جوجي بخي نبيعي صنيحم كاني كلها تنزل سيستراد الله زندقاتر الله خاني كم يقبرني إلل ندالك كم فانخيا لا تحقوس كبري خريت سدي أيلن كألك كلن جناح بلناني نتناتنوين سمع إنه حيت أيوه وزيه لحرايوين ودحري 9 خون تملي سبز جزا دحان حنسا كوفلناها دحر 4 ساعات وزيه سوت قاعد حن كتريات خلي يختبها هي ساعات 5 إيه صبوري يا قال كندي قا كم سملا علي نبي حق صبوا على
حج خاطو خلو تم قلعت تم أبوتات ويديتات يسمعني حج خن بلن دحانكم الله سيوم دابخي يوم تسدوا مبزحتهم حجكم مصوت صخاي حقوسو ماليتي حجي مستوم حكاي مش تزلوا تركبك نساتهم قد خفت اوبريشن ابانا يمدم صومناتهم حمات ابانا مسمو صخا بعلنا اليوم مساتهم كينا ناتهم نرسالوا انا هنا نرسالوا كلتينا كينا بحنسا ماليتي صبو نسرح تحبابيرنا ماليتي حدش نغرتلو انداتحاتاتتنا نردادا بس نسرح صبو معبال اللو خافتنا يقدم زنبر عمتات حج دما تزبلصت اب تو ديت زخونه ነገራት አምጽዮም አሉ በቀሊሉ ክርዳአካ ዝኽእል ጽቡቕ ምዕባል ኣሎ ይብል
Our experience to make this story was exceptional in the sense that we witnessed firsthand the aspiration of locally produced medical professionals to know more, which can be easily observed in the undivided attention they gave Dr. Andreas while he performs the operation.
You can see from this machine, this is a record from the cardiac with echocardiographic machine. This is Doppler, which shows there is an increased flow in the defect she has. So you can see also the defect is on the upper part of the heart, namely the atrial septal defect between the two atrium. Between the two atrium, there is this defect. Blood is going from left to right. So you can see the red shadow is blood is passing through that defect. So the surgeon, they are going to close this defect.
This is an echo picture of the heart, and we see that there is one chamber, that there's a second chamber, and there's a big wall between the two chambers. And here is a hole in the wall. So the blood, instead of going this way, takes this way. And that is something which makes the child very sick. And on top of that is seen better in another picture. On top of that, the child has, this is one, a narrowing of, on top of that, the child has a narrowing of the artery which brings the blood to the lungs, and we can measure how narrow that is. We call that a gradient. You see the cross here, and I know that by this figure that this is an important narrowing. It's an obstruction, and this important obstruction we will have to take away by the operation, so that we have two things to do. Take away the obstruction, close the hole, and then the heart will be healthy.
This is what separates facts from fiction here in Eritrea. The desire to learn on how to do rather than how to expect. This is a solid ideology implanted on each and every Eritrean that has its roots from the liberation struggle and from giving heed to Eritrea's current realities as a developing nation.
Yearly there is progress, be it in the investigation, identifying cardiac patients, and letting them having the operation. So assisting them and being supervised in the past 10 years, it has given us confidence just to be self-sufficient. So I hope also in the near future, as long as other health workers are fully equipped, because cardiac intervention is not a one-man job. It's teamwork in all sense. So we are at least approaching to that stage, because whenever they are coming, we are also in the place just to be trained at the same time to work in the area. So confidently It's true that we are gaining much of the experience, and as long as they are with us, we are also doing our job. So I think in the near future we'll be self-sufficient to do our activity in the sense of completing it.
The Ministry of Health has always supported us and our program very much. And without this support, I think we would not have reached the situation in which we are now. And with further support, which we need, we will be in a position, I think it will take a few more years, but then we will be in a position that Eritrea is not called a developing country in forms of cardiac disease and cardiac operations, but is a developed country. And that's where we want to be.
مسارحين قالن بزيادة أمستن وتأتيني تكوينكا نفسها تمزنها لها أبزخينكا يرأي كان تاي عمخان تاي كقلتكا كل جزء روتين تسرح سلزخونة سيرد كان أو نفسها هنكا توادد رها لها قل تاي مالسي تحتيين أي سرح كنا ومعرين كوينة سريحة مالتي بس قاعد أبزخ ما نسخت معبل تخيل مخان كاسي يرقاقت
And after 2 hours of patient but carefully handled work, the operation finishes with success.
And if you see these children, the Eritrean children, they are marvelous. If they are just 1-2 days after operation, they are already sitting in their beds, they are playing, and when they leave after 10 days, they're IOCA, then they are really healthy children. And that's what I think what is the best which can happen to a family. If they bring a sick children which would for sure die, the most of the children would not become more than about 10, 12 years old. For sure, most of them would die before. And then you see them when you come back next year or year afterwards, and you see healthy children. That's wonderful. That's really wonderful.
This child is now given the chance to live a full and complete life, just like everyone else, thanks to the life-saving surgery she received at the Eritrean Pediatric Heart Center. And in the months or years that will follow, this facility will be entirely handled by local professionals.
And this is just, we started to operate patients last week. This is the 11th patient. No one died, and as you have seen, everybody is just enjoying the healthiest life, starting from the moment of recovery. So it's amazing to see patients who were just bedridden. Sometimes even they don't have the normal growth and development in patients after operation. In few weeks' time, they start to walk, just to lead a normal life. It's a very important aspect of the health service. At least we are fortunate enough to get this service in our area.
The aim to make children healthy is one of the main aims, and either German children or Eritrean children, and the rest is cooperation. The rest is really friendship with the Eritrean people. That's why I like to come here.
Organizing and mobilizing specialists from developing nations is a difficult task, says Dr. Andreas Urban, heading the team of experts at the facility. But nevertheless, he adds that it is equally rewarding to see a life of a child saved and seeing him or her grow each passing day.
If you can imagine, to do cardiac surgery means you have 20 people to come with you. You need a team. And all they come from their work. They work at home in Germany. They are not sitting about and waiting to go abroad. They are working. So they need free time. They need to be organized, put together, and then we go to Eritrea. So one team is not enough. So I asked other people, would you not like to join us? It's a wonderful country and nice people, and they have nothing to care for kids with heart disease. So as I had the chance at that time to serve as a chairman of the European Congenital Heart Surgeons Association, I had many friends, and it was not so difficult to find them and to interest them in that work. And now we have 4 teams to come regularly, sustainably to Eritrea to do that work. And when we started with 12 children per year, we now do between 80 and 100. That's an enormous increase. And the diagnostic part has increased also. And we had our partners trained, and now we get more patients and we operate more patients. And if you think that those patients normally have no chance to live, but with operation have a normal life, that's great.
There is a known fact here in Eritrea. The people refuse to wallow in poverty, misery, and ill health. Despite their limited resources, and at a time when all nationals are striving to secure an all-rounded freedom, it is indeed imperative to set standards straight for the future generation, in order that they may fight to secure the health of their nationals on their own ground and on their own turf.
You can talk to your daughter.